Welcome to FineScale Modeler Weekly, your source for new model kit releases and a lot more. Let's get into this week's show.
We'll start off with the 1/25th scale 1969 Plymouth GTX Hardtop by AMT.
This kit was a new tool in 1990 and since then has seen new parts, new decals, and new box art. This release will have all three.
This stock 1969 GTX Hardtop comes with the option to build one of two engines, either a detailed 426 cubic inch V8 or a 446 pack with 390 horsepower.
Under the hood, we'll start off with the 426 and 440 engine halves, transmission, cylinder heads, cover, timing belt, headers, and air cleaner.
Going to the interior, we'll start with the floor. Center console, dashboard with connected pedals, steering wheel with column, door panels, and front and rear seats.
Underneath are the chassis, front suspension frame, suspension, engine compartment walls, firewall, radiator frame, and radiator.
Staying underneath, but going to the rear, there's the differential with axle shafts, springs, shocks, drive shaft, dual mufflers, and exhaust pipes for both types of engines.
A clear sprue is provided for the rear window, windshield, and door windows.
After the chassis and interior are complete, they fit into the body. After that, the hood, grille with headlights, front and rear bumpers, and tail lights are attached. Two-wheel choices with or without spokes fit into pad-printed redline tires to finish the build.
A waterslide decal sheet includes racing stripes, hood art, Plymouth and GTX logos, running lights, license plates, and bumper stickers.
This kit is loaded with authentic touches. Hood hinges, custom wheels, and vintage-style decals, all wrapped in nostalgic retro packaging. Whether you're a gearhead or a die-hard collector, this is one kit you can't afford to miss.
Up next is the 1/35th scale UH-60M Blackhawk by Academy.
This four-bladed twin-engine Army helicopter is capable of combat, assault, medevac, personnel transport, and more. In all, there are about 30 variants. The first entered service in 1979.
Produced by Sikorsky, it boasts their longest-running production ever. Used by about 20 nations, after nearly 50 years, it remains the U.S. Army's most versatile workhorse.
The newest modifications in this UH-60M variant include vertical exhaust stacks to reduce its heat signature, radar warning receiver, chaff, and flares to confuse enemy radar, and more.
Starting at the top is the main rotor hub assembly, shaft extension, blade dampers, pitch control rods, and rotor blades.
Going inside the cockpit, there's the main instrumentation panel, center console instrumentation, pilot and co-pilot seats, cyclic sticks, and pedals.
The passenger compartment has room for 10 troop seats and 2 gunner seats, which will be suspended from the compartment roof and connect to the floor for stability. Rear and side bulkheads add strength to the compartment.
Both the cockpit and passenger compartment fit inside the main body halves. Then the tail rotor is attached. To give the UH-60M Blackhawk power, there are 2 turboshaft engines with turbines.
The front of the engines have air intakes, covered by cowlings, and connected in the stern by a plate.
The passenger compartment has a sliding door on each side, along with sliding gunner windows. The horizontal stabilizer gets affixed to the tail.
Details include machine guns with ammo boxes, windshield wiper blades, a clear sprue for the windshield, windows, and lights, and a decal sheet for 5 markings. B Company Jokers 227th Sikorsky Armed Blackhawk, 1st Cavalry Division, U.S. Army, Fort Cavazos, Texas. Sikorsky Armed Blackhawk, U.S. Army. Australian Army, 40 aircraft since 2023. 2nd Aviation Regiment, U.S. Army, Demilitarized Zone, Camp Humphreys, South Korea, and 2nd Aviation Regiment, U.S. Army, Camp Humphreys, South Korea.
Academy's 1/35th scale UH-60M Blackhawk began life as a newly tooled kit in 2001. Over the years, the kit has seen steady updates, with new parts and upgraded decals added to reflect evolving versions of the Black Hawk. This most recent release continues that tradition, offering updated features and markings that keep the kit relevant for modern modelers.
Next is ICM's Brave Ukraine series 1/72nd scale MiG-29 of Ukrainian Air Forces with JDAM-ER bombs.
Some Ukrainian MiG-29 fighters have been modified to use JDAM extended range precision guided glide bombs.
To enable this, Ukraine upgraded the MiG's avionics and targeting systems, allowing them to communicate with and deploy Western munitions. This boosts Ukraine's strike capability while modernizing older Soviet aircraft to align better with NATO systems.
Going inside, we'll start with the cockpit tub, pilot seat, center stick, and instrumentation panel.
The cockpit fits in between the fuselage halves. The port and starboard wings are attached to the body, along with vertical and horizontal stabilizers.
Other details include turbofan engines, main air inlets, ad hoc pylons, various ordnance, and fuel tanks.
A clear sprue provides the two-part canopy. There's a decal sheet for Ukrainian Air Force aircraft that carry JDAM-ER bombs, and a painting guide for both aircraft and ordnance on the back page of the instructions.
ICM originally released this kit in 2008 as the MiG-29 913 Soviet frontline fighter and has updated decals and box art through 2022. The 2023 release saw new parts. This release includes newly added parts and decals, specifically to represent the Ukrainian Air Force with markings and ordnance.
Last is the 1/72nd scale Type 89 Co and Type 95 Hago Japanese tanks 2-in-1 set by IBG Models.
The Type 89 Co was a new tool in 2016 and had new parts added in 8 subsequent releases up through 2024.
The Co medium tank was produced between 1931 and 1932. As the primary tank of the Imperial Japanese Army during the early 1930s, it saw action in several major conflicts, including the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Battle of Khalkhin Gol, and World War II.
Going right into the Type 89, there are the leaf springs connected to bogies, bogie wheels, belly armor, body armor, glasses plate, and rear drive sprocket.
Up front is the idler sprocket, which sits inside the suspension guard and is surrounded by a track with natural sag.
There's additional armor plating, fenders, bow machine gun, tools, and tail assembly.
On the left rear side, there's the exhaust with cover. Up top are the turret, front plate, main gun, and commander's hatch.
A fret of photo-etched metal provides an alternative to the provided exhaust cover and adds cross members to the tail assembly. Also included is a decal sheet for 3 markings. Second Company, 7th Tank Regiment of Imperial Japanese Army, early 1940s. Third Company, 7th Tank Regiment of Imperial Japanese Army, early 1940s. And Imperial Japanese Army, China, early 1940s.
The Type 95 Hago tank was a new tool in 2021, with new parts in 2022 to add the Manchu suspension. In 2024, new parts were added once again to make a shortwave radio variant.
In the early 1930s, Japan developed a Type 95 to support infantry and cavalry with speed and mobility. Though lightly armed and armored, it was effective in early campaigns and became one of Japan's most produced tanks, serving throughout World War II.
Drive sprockets, return rollers, and idler wheel mounts get attached to the lower armor body. Lower armor construction is finished with the rear and glasses plates.
Bogies, drive sprocket, return rollers, and idler wheel fit inside the one-piece track.
The top armor body fits on the completed lower section. A bow machine gun, viewport, turret plate base, and exhaust finish off the body armor construction.
The turret sits atop the body, which consists of its main forward gun, rear machine gun, and commander's hatch.
Details include a stowage box, shovel, pickaxe, a photo-etched metal exhaust cover, and a wooden cart that consists of the frame, axle, and 2 wheels.
Included is a decal sheet for 2 markings. 3 company, 1st Regiment, Malayan Peninsula, January-February 1942. And Imperial Japanese Navy, Iwo Jima, February 1945.
IBJ Models really packs detail into this 1/72 scale 2-in-1 Japanese armor kit. If you're into 1/72 scale models, or Japanese tanks in particular, this one's definitely worth checking out.
Look for reviews of the Plymouth GTX, UH-60 and Black Hawk, MiG-29, and the Japanese 2-in-1 armor set at FineScale.com.
Where you'll also find our very active forum community that covers many topics like model kits, tools, techniques, reference materials, and much more.
I'm really excited about the tools that we're going to talk about today. I had a chance to pick these things up a couple of years ago, and I've been trying to fit them into the show, and I just said, you know what, we're going to get them in today. We've got a Mandrel, and no, not the old world monkey, you know, it's got the red and the blue, no, a Mandrel right here, and then these photo-etched rollers. The Mandrel is very useful for making coils. So I was recently editing a Bob Steinbrun story, and he made springs for an engine. In other articles, we've had people who have used a Mandrel or something similar to make coilover shocks, make the springs for coilover shocks. And you can go from a 12 millimeter diameter all the way down to a 1 millimeter diameter on it. And what's also cool about this particular tool is, well, that's a little pointy, right? If you're maybe you're afraid that you're going to break this, or you might poke somebody in the eye like yourself. You can actually take this end bit off of this particular design, which is by Display, and set that aside and then do your work there. So how does it work? Well, let's say you've got your piece of wire here and I want to do a 2 millimeter diameter. So you hold it in place, you start your now I'm doing kind of a loose, but you can tighten that up if you'd like. And then you can go ahead and slip the coil right off. Now obviously whatever you're doing is going to be delicate, but I've just made a little spring there. I think I did a 3 millimeter diameter spring. So can you achieve those same results by using drill bits or some other cylindrical object? Yeah, you can. So you don't absolutely need a stepped mandrel. But for me, it was really cool to get it into rotation at my workbench. And when I do need it, it's nice to just be able to reach over, pick it up, do my work, and then put it back without having to necessarily go hunting for the right size of drill bit. Now, the other thing we're going to talk about is this photo-etched roller set, which, my gosh, I love this thing. I love this thing so much. How many times have you needed to bend a piece of photo-etched metal into a nice curve? This right here, this solves a lot of problems. Let me show you. I have a cooling jacket here for a light machine gun, and you cannot use these photo-etched rollers until, of course, you've annealed the photo-etched metal that you want to roll. So when you're annealing brass, what you're doing is you're heating the brass up to about between 600 and 700 degrees Fahrenheit. And what that does is help take the spring out of that metal. So when you bend it, it doesn't spring back to its original flat form, or try to at any rate. We'll turn this off so no one gets burnt. Set it off to the side. So what we can do is we take our piece and we put it over the diameter of the trough or slot that we want for the roller that we want to use. And then what you want to do, once that's in there, keep rolling it around inside that trough. Now, once the curve has started, what you want to do is roll on your mat back and forth to try and get as tight a curve as possible on your part. And then you can go ahead and slip that part off, and it's uniform all the way down. And that jacket is now ready to put on to machine gun. Do you need these tools? You do not, but you know me. I like these kinds of things because they make our lives easier. And that's what the tools that we collect for our modeling is all about. Now these, this runs about $9 on the shoptrains.com store, and this runs about $25, $26 at the same place. Do you need to pick up a Display one? Absolutely not. You can find others out there from other brands, but if you needed an easy, quick, one-stop shop for either of these, you can find them at the link in the description below. This season, we have been looking at a lot of show videos because we are smack dab in the busiest time of the year for model shows. And so this wrap up is no exception. We were down in Louisville, Kentucky for Wonderfest. And if you guys don't know what Wonderfest is about, it's all about sci-fi, cinema, horror, fantasy, all sorts of really cool visual models that you might not see at other shows that are more focused on cars or military. So we headed down there and took photos, and then this video. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
cyclic, right? Cyclic 6.
It's such a,
Yeah, this
such a mouthful.
It has seen steady. Yes, my brain said something else there.
It happens. I've done that too.
It's okay. You're going senile. That's how you made it sound. The stock 1969 Plymouth GTX Hardtop.
You were doing so good.
Next is ICM's.
I think that's a little too slow.
Oh, Joint Direct Attack Munition Extended Range Precision Guided Glided Bombs.
Guided
Variety.
With jazz hands.
There we go.
I can do it again if you would like.
I think that's good.
Okay.